Welcome to the big show. This is Investing with Confidence. I am your host, Joshua David, and we are happy to have you with us today. As always, I have my good friend, my good pal. He is not Johnny Cash this week. He is Mr. Gray. How are you doing, Mr. Al Conningson?
This sounds depressing, Mr. Gray. I have a gray sweater on. That's what he's talking about, folks. I am doing fantastic. How about you, Josh?
I'm doing really good. You know, I talked about this a couple weeks ago. I always have a nickname for you, but I had nothing today. That's all I had.
I'm going to try to confuse you from here on out.
All right, well, let's just make sure you are wearing clothes here. It's a family show.
No problem there.
But it is great to be back helping our listeners make better investing decisions. And this is a final financial show, not a clothing show. So we're going to talk about stocks, options, futures, Forex, but Online Trading Academy, the sponsor of Investing with Confidence, on their 25th year, teaching people just like you how to invest in stocks, options, futures, Forex. And we do that at our local academy, Brick and Mortar Academy, right here in Bloomington, next to the Mall of America. Now, that could be for your income goals, so income potential, or wealth. Anytime we talk about wealth, we're talking about retirement accounts, 401ks, 403bs, TSPs, whatever that may be. It's money invested in the markets. And we're going to talk about some of those C's that we talk about every single week. And we're going to talk about this. You have choices. You can make choices with your life, right? What are those choices? You got to take a chance.
Right.
If you don't take chances, but it's schedule, or I won't say schedule, but particular chances and making small risk opportunities, and then to make a change. You have to make choices, take a chance to make any changes. And as we continue here, as we go in this on the show here today, at the end of each segment, I'm going to talk about four different rules for success. And hopefully what we talk about here today inspires you to take chances and make decisions in your financial future. Al, we had some great moves in the markets. S&Ps, the stock market getting up to all-time highs. Once again, hear the claps. But I tell you what, there's another thing going that's all-time highs. Cryptocurrency. We have Bitcoin back at all-time highs. Actually, currently, for our YouTube listeners that are watching live right now, 61,141 exactly right now. So great opportunities in the markets, but lots of volatility, which is what we want to see as average investors. Let's talk about how the markets work, how we can use this volatility to our advantage as retail investors for income potential.
Yeah, the volatility is our friend. Look at that as something that you can use to your advantage if you know how to use it. If you don't, it can be one of your worst enemies. This was an interesting week. All three indexes ended up for the week. Dow was up about 1.1%, S&P 1.6%, and the NASDAQ 1.3%. But here's the interesting thing. We're in earnings season.
Yeah.
And about 85% of the companies that have reported have beat earnings, have had really good earnings reports. However, we've talked, and I've mentioned this numerous times over the last year or so, that a lot of these companies that have these huge or highly overvalued or highly valued stock prices, at some point in time, they're going to have to justify those prices.
Well, think about Tesla, all-time highs once again.
Tesla,
$909 per share.
Right. But here's what happened. If you don't meet earnings, or the whisper numbers, which could be higher than what has been put out there as the expectations, you get punished. On Friday, Snapchat, missed earnings. They were down 26% in one day. Intel, same thing, down over 11%. So these companies are going to get punished if they miss earnings. This next week will be an interesting week because we've got Facebook, Twitter, Apple, Microsoft, Google. Those companies are going to be reporting earnings. And based on what happened with Snapchat, a lot of people are going to be watching those. So this could be, again, another volatile week, which is fantastic because when Snapchat got hit on Friday, was down 26%. There were a lot of people that had a huge payday with that stock because there are strategies that can be used, especially during earnings season, to take advantage of this volatility.
Yeah, actually, Snap had great earnings, actually, Al.
Yeah.
They had really good earnings, but it went down. So that's why you as investors need to understand how the markets actually work, because if great earnings doesn't always mean stock price is going up.
No, that happens. And another thing that happened on Friday, we talked, I think, last week about how sometimes good news is bad news and bad news is good news. Well, the market was actually, all three indexes were starting to move up on Friday, and then somebody spoke. Somebody said something. That happened to be Jerome Powell. Mm-hmm. When he speaks, he becomes probably the most powerful person in the world. What he said is that by this next year, 2022, he sees the U.S. labor market going back to full employment. that should be good news. But what it meant, people looked at that as meaning, well, they're probably going to raise interest rates. And that's basically what he said. That became bad news based on something that was good. So it doesn't make any difference what you're seeing out there. Follow what the market is doing. Follow what the smart people that we teach you how to follow. Follow what they're doing because they are participating beneficially no matter what the market's doing.
Yeah, and with the news, everything that's happening, it creates emotions and, fear and greed, buy and sell, whatever that may be. But just understand how the charts move. The institutions move price, which is reflected on a price chart. And as Al was talking about, follow them, follow those big money. Online Trading Academy, the sponsor of Investing with Confidence, has strategies that's designed to teach you to follow those big banks, follow those institutions, and not trade against them because we can't beat them. So we want to trade like them. You mentioned earnings are coming out this week. There's actually 900 companies doing earnings announcements this week. A lot of the FANG stocks. So great volatility coming up here this week. Understand how to utilize it. We actually have investing classes all week. Right? Every single day we have investing classes virtually. So if you want to get into one of these virtual classes, they're only about 45 minutes. They're online. You can get in several times per day. So you can just go to otamin.com. That's our website, and register for one of those free investing classes virtually. You can also text the word invest to the number 484848. You're going to receive a link back, which is that link, otamin.com, to register for that class, pick a date. When you do that, you're also going to receive a financial quick start kit just for attending. Now, coming up next, I want to continue this discussion about the smart money, how they are, and when I say they, is the Wall Streets, the banks, how they are taking $100, turn it into $2, taking that $200 and turning it into $4. The great thing about these strategies that we're going to talk about are also available to us. Go to otamin.com or text invest to the number 484848. We'll be right back.